funding restoration by the governor and recent request for financial assistance, how should the county proceed with the Jurupa Valley situation? Should the county provide financial assistance? Should Jurupa Valley disincorporate?
Yeah, not an easy one. We thought we'd get a few easy, slow pitches over the plate. Not to be. Nobody benefits really when the city disincorporates. I mean, the county has had teams. I mean, Desert Hot Spring, I don't want to give away anything, but they were on hard times here some years back. The county sent in a team to try to shore them up, help them out, and it worked. I think we ought to try everything possible. Now, they've been already heavily subsidized, as it were, already. I mean, the county's carrying on their fire services like. So we don't want to create a situation where city residents are now receiving better services than unincorporated residents, by the way. We're going to have to look at all this carefully, but we're going to work with them, and we're going to try to do our best to make up for the, I mean, a lot of things we're doing is making up for the failures of the state of California. All right. And I think we've done a tremendous job so far. Take these prisoner releases. The early results, and these are preliminary, shows there's less recidivist, there are less reoffenses by these low-level prisoners after they go under our programs, the county, than they were in the state. That's a good thing. The county can do better at a lot of things, and we're working hard to do that. And we're going to work with all of our cities, and it's not just River Valley that's in trouble. They're the first of them, but we have 3 other new cities, and we have to balance this out very carefully and work closely together, and that's what's going on. That cities in the 2nd District, Supervisor Talone, he does an excellent job working with them. We're going to hear what he has to say.
Mr. Jeffries.
Let me first say I don't think there's any good upside to having 5,000 inmates get an early release in Riverside County. I don't see much good coming from that. With regards to the DLF funding, these were special funds that were earmarked at the very beginning for new cities by the state. We had several cities incorporate under that program: Wildemar, Menifee, Jurupa, and Eastvale. And the governor pulled the rug out from underneath them with his bill to eliminate those funds. Every year we fought to restore those funds and had those bills killed, except for this last year when we had a bipartisan effort to restore the funding. We got through both houses, the Senate and the Assembly, on a bipartisan effort. Even though it was going to be held in the last few minutes, Assemblymember Miller and myself convinced the Speaker to let it come to the floor for a vote. It passed, and then it went to the governor, and then the Association of Counties, CSAC, which this county is a member of and pays dues to, the Association of Counties led an effort to have the governor veto that bill and kill our cities. And the governor took almost the identical language that the Association of Counties utilized to request the veto, and he put that in his language, and now we're looking at cities that may have to disincorporate. I think that's an outrage. They are using our membership to harm our own cities.
Mr. Buster.
Well, that bill pitted counties' essential revenue stream for dealing with these prisoners in early release that you're complaining about, okay, it would have taken money away from programs like that pitted against the cities, the new cities. So it was a great bill from the standpoint of the state legislature, which didn't have to deal with their own budget problems. Once you get evaded responsibility, they could watch the counties and the cities fighting among one another. Yeah, pitted one against the other. That's the kind of legislation that's coming out of Sacramento with a kind of partisan stalemate and lack of understanding of local affairs. And I hope it ends pretty soon because county is where these things have to get done.
Mr.
Keep
Jeffries.
the cities whole and keep realignment, keep these prisoners from reoffending.
Very simply, these were funds that the cities originally possessed and were entitled to under previous laws that they incorporated under. These cities deserve to have those funds back because they incorporated under those rules. The fact that the governor wanted to change the rules after they incorporated doesn't mean that those cities are wrong to have those funds restored. And that's what we had in a bipartisan fashion, and that's what got pulled out from underneath us, and it was wrong.
What are you doing to bring Ontario Airport to our, or what would you do to bring Ontario Airport to our area? the ownership of the airport?
We're on a good path. I believe that the Inland Empire is on a very good path to work with Los Angeles International Airports to get that airport transferred over to a Joint Powers Authority. And I think it's long overdue. As someone who had to fly out of there twice a week, every week for 9 months out of the year, rest assured LAX is not taking care of Ontario Airport. LAX is looking out for LAX. They're not looking out for us. So the efforts that are being made from the folks in San Bernardino to bring in Riverside and bring in other communities, that is a good effort, and I applaud it.
Mr. Buster?
Yeah, I mean, I generally favor that, but so far it's kind of amazing to me. There's been not only the county offered a resolution support of that control local to the inland area, but a lot of cities, Marjorie Use Authority, a lot of us, and yet the only entity that's been brought on board is the mayor of the city of Riverside. I mean, one of the issues they're grappling with, in addition to local control, is how do they bring down these very high fees? I mean, they've been saddled with all the cost of the new construction, so they have much higher fees. And I'm not an expert in this area, but it seems to me that the broader representation you have throughout the inland area on this group, the better chance you're going to have at not only local control, but dealing with the economic issues that have helped scare some of the airlines off and to bring them back.
Mr. Jeffries? Mr. Buster?